Everybody, we are back. It is Taped Online's favorite Raiders channel, favorite Raiders, favorite Raiders breakdown, favorite Raiders everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Hit the dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at @DMarkJohnNFL for me, at MHolder95 for Matt, and of course PandaSubs.com. Discount code TDL for 35% off. All right, so. The Raiders had a little bit of a disappointing game. I think this is a letdown. Yeah. It's a letdown. Definitely a letdown game, especially just the way they played.
Yeah.
I feel like the Colts didn't even really have the ball. The game went really fast. There's just nothing. It just felt like a game that they should have won, but they just didn't. They just played, bad football, to be honest. The penalties, dumb penalty at the wrong times, drops, whatever happened, sometimes Antonio Pierce maybe not going for it on fourth down what he should have, those type of things. It was just a weird game in my opinion, but the Raiders lost 23-20. The playoffs dream is over. The dream is gone. We're on to the draft, Matt.
We are
to the draft, and we're on to beating the Broncos. So we got two things left. I did say we had two things to do. Right, beating the Chiefs was just some icing on the cake. I appreciate that, but we still could beat the Broncos next week. I had two things to happen when they're like 5-8 or whatever. So I had two wishes. They've happened. They've come true. Hopefully, we could beat the Broncos. We beat the Broncos week 18 in the Jarrett Stidham revenge game. We'll see what we got here. So, what are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it kind of nailed it. Like, very disappointing, especially after last week. Kind of what was frustrating to me is like it felt like a lot of the same issues that have been all year. It's like offensively couldn't get anything going, couldn't sustain drives, kept stalling out at the 50 for whatever reason, which I mean, I guess a little bit different because normally they stall out in the red zone, but yeah, I don't know what it was. As soon as they got to that logo, they just couldn't figure it out. And I mean, basically outside of just peppering Devontae Adams with targets, that was pretty much their only offensive game plan. Bo Hargadegre, like I'm tired of it. 3rd and half a yard, and he runs a freaking double reverse trick pass screen or whatever the hell he's got going on. It doesn't work. They go for it, and then they have 4th and inches, and Jermaine Illuminor jumps off sides. It's like undisciplined play, and for a game that had so much on the line, like with
man,
and like even I know the Raiders playoffs hopes were like it was going to be a long shot, even if they didn't win out. I think they still only had like a 60% chance or whatever.
CJ Stroud's back, so I guess the Texans like killed the Titans, so we'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just frustrating to see them like play like this in a game that had so much on the line. And I think, like you said, Antonio Pierce, a little bit of regression compared to last week. Aiden O'Connell, I mean, I'm sure we'll get to him. I think kind of today, the last two games really proved he's just not the guy, as a lot of people said. And now for recently, so tough one. A tough one to eat, tough one to swallow, and unfortunately, now they're not in great position to draft the quarterback as we look towards it. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see where they finish at. Somebody said they're back in the top 10. So
they are.
Man, so it's not that bad yet, man. It's not that bad. You can't freak out yet, but they're back in the top 10. So nothing to freak out about yet. With getting a new quarterback. But for the offense, it was just a weird game to me. Because I feel like they just never had a flow.
Yeah.
Like they would move the ball, get to the 40, and then everything would just
stall
from that point. Right?
Yeah.
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say it felt like something like a little different every time, like whether it was like a drop or like Devontae maybe not squeezing it, Jacoby Myers not squeezing it, O'Connell missing guys. All of a sudden they start getting stuffed against the run. Like it seemed like almost like a comedy of errors that just kept happening once they hit the 40, where it was like it's not even like it was one thing that they were doing wrong. It was like it just everything they tried didn't work, which is almost more frustrating.
Yeah. It's like you talk about the 3rd and 1. Like, what was that? Like, what were they thinking? I mean, Zamir White was playing pretty well at that point. I mean, he couldn't get a yard. Like, just outthinking themselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was just stupid play call. Like, I don't know what the hell that was. They didn't need to do it. Like, it ain't like they were down. I mean, it was like 17. Was it 7-3 at that point? I think when they did that.
Yeah, I want to say because it was towards the beginning of the game. Yeah. And they've been doing that like ever since Hardegree took over. They are good for like one trick play a game, and it's like maybe I feel like, and this is just pulling a number out of a hat, like I feel like maybe 25% of them work. And when you keep running them, like you're not catching anybody by surprise anymore. Like, and that's exactly what happened. Like it almost, even though they hadn't run it before, it almost looked like the Colts were ready for it because they like just know that Hardery's going to make some weird play call like that on a 3rd and short situation.
Yeah, and then they literally threw to like 2 guys the whole game.
Yeah.
They literally threw to 2 guys the whole game. So
yeah,
it was super interesting to watch them just throw to Adams. Adams had 21 targets. 21 targets for 13 catches for 126 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, if anybody wants Aiden O'Connell to stay, it's Adams because Aiden O'Connell throws him the ball. You know what I mean? Adams is like, hey, people say like, oh, he doesn't like him. He's like, what do you mean? 21 targets? I think Devontae Adams is cool with him. That's a great guy for Devontae. Devontae likes him. Very, very high on the Devontae Adams level. 21 targets is nuts. But only like 9.7 per catch. Jacoby Myers was second with 10. That's where he had like 3 drops. That's where he dropped the ball like 3 times. Yeah, he was bad this game. And, and then they don't throw the ball to anybody else. Hunter Renfrow didn't even get – did he play?
He was out there, but I don't think he even got a target.
He didn't get a target. No. Samir White got another – oh, no, he got 98 – wait. 30. No, he got 100,
he hit 100
108 yards total, but only 3.6 yards per carry. So he kind of came back to earth on this game. But I thought he had some pretty decent runs in there. I kind of felt like they were being weird.
I saw you tweeting about it. Like I saw you tweeting about it, like run the ball or whatever. And like, what's funny is like a lot of trends and a lot of people's complaint with most offenses that they run it too much on first down. But the Raiders, like Zamir White had a couple like 9-yard runs on 1st and 10. I'm like, man. Like, I'm like, let's do this more often. Like, let's reverse course a little bit, zig when everyone else is zagging, because that was what was working. And then they just, again, ball hard.
You have a rookie quarterback, though. You're a rookie quarterback. And the running game, he threw the ball 50 times. The game was never like out of hand like that, where they just kept throwing. He threw the ball 21 times in the first half. I'm like, what is happening? Did they watch last week? Like, what are they doing? You know what I mean? Like, and he wasn't playing that bad, but it's just so volatile. Like he's not ready for that, obviously. And they're not designing things. He's too Adams centric. 21 targets for a player is crazy when you have all the players that the Raiders have. You're like, I mean, why is he only throwing to Adams? So it's just interesting from that aspect what they're really trying to do here on offense. And I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, we talk about AP in a second, but we'll get to the defense. But the offense was just, I don't know. It just felt really weird watching it. Like it wasn't like terrible, but it wasn't good either. So
I almost think like it almost kind of feels like maybe AP and like Bo Hardegree aren't on the same page, because like AP earlier this week talked about how like Aiden O'Connell is not good enough to win them a game, or not going to win a game because of Aiden O'Connell, which I know some people like thought it was a little bit shocking that he would just outwardly say that. And then again, they threw the ball 47 times. If you don't think your quarterback is good enough to win you, or you're not going to win games because of your quarterback, you know what you don't do? Have him throw the ball 50 times.
20 times in the first. He threw the ball 21 times in the first half. And there's some drives I'm like, why aren't you running the ball? Shouldn't you just like at least get like some runs in here? Let's avoid 3rd down. I feel like they play for 3rd down, and then Aiden O'Connell completes some 3rd downs. But like, dog, like you can't have 17 3rd downs. You're not, because if you're 9 for 17, sure, you're going to be number 1 in the NFL. But there's 8 3rd downs you missed. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's 8 3rd downs you missed there. So 8 times you're punting. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. Offensively, that's what I was saying. Like, yeah, they got to go somewhere different offensively, regardless. But let's get to the defense before we get to AP. Defense, they just gave up some plays that were just shouldn't. They couldn't stop the run today. I mean, they had the big play to with the rollout on the first drive, Josh Downs. Yeah, and the play to Alex Pierce. That was a touchdown, right? Was that a touchdown?
Mm-hmm. Cover 0.
Yeah, cover 0.
They run cover 0 and Amik Robertson's playing 10 yards off. I'm like, well, normally when you play cover 0, you're like 5 yards off, because the pass rush should hit there, and you don't give the guy you don't give the guy that runs a 4.3 40 a free release. with no
Who's
safety
also
helping at the
6'4",
top.
230 or some shit like that versus a 5'9" guy. And you expect him to like turn and run with him. That was a weird play call. That was a weird defensive call. That was no respect for Gardner Minshew. But like, I mean, Gardner Minshew can complete passes in the NFL. Like let's keep it real.
Yeah,
I mean, he can complete passes in the NFL. It's just that was just ugly, man. I just didn't know what that was about. They just gave up too many big plays and the penalties. That Jack Jones penalty was stupid. Jack Jones, make him catch it and get his feet in. Make
yeah,
him catch the ball and make the acrobatic catch. Like you can't play defense any better than that. At that point, you're making him throw outside the sidelines. If he catches that and does a sideline catch just and he falls in,
yeah.
great.
Tip your
That's
cap.
just the game, right? Tip your cap. Why did he push him before? Like when I saw it, like during like the fresh broadcast, I was like, "There's no way that's a bad call." Then I saw it like on the replay, like, why did you push him before he caught the ball?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it seemed like Jack Jones, we've been hyping him up the last couple of weeks. This was a little bit of a regression for Jack Jones because that rollout, I don't need to see the all 22 copy to see what coverage, but it looked like he got probably a little bit too far downhill, sucked too far downhill instead of playing deep, and they dumped it to Downs over his head, and he looked a little lost out there, which was a few things that like even on his like good games that was kind of noticeable where he maybe overplay his leverage a little bit, maybe too aggressive, and the Colts again had a good game plan to maybe take advantage of that, and then on top of the PI jumping off sides on the field goal or being off sides on the field goal to give them an extra shot because that ended up being one of the big differences in the game because it would have been a tie ball game and they don't have to go for the onside kick at the end of there. So maybe we're still watching. So, but
Yeah.
It's a young team, young corners. What can you expect? Meek Robertson, backup. He's going to have his good game, going to have his bad games. Jack Jones, second year in the league, have good games and bad games. So
I can't believe he pushed him. I was like, why? Like, why did you do that? Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Were you like trying to time it up? Woo, man, that was a big play in that game because they got the field goal off of that. That was I mean, they get off the field. They might not get off the field because offsides, but they don't get to the 34 or whatever the hell they got to. You know what I mean?
I think it would have been like 3rd and 3, right? I think it was like 3rd and 8 when he did that because I don't think the offsides would have given him the first down. It just gave him a free play, if I remember correctly. But either way, yeah, like you said, we'll take the 5-yard penalty over the 30-yard penalty.
Yeah. Yeah, in the pass rush, I mean, I don't know how much they kind of just ran the ball all game. I feel like they didn't throw. Didn't they run the ball like 11 times in a row at one point?
Yeah, towards the end to close it out, they wore the defense down. Like,
yeah, he's 15 to 23.
What's up?
He's 15 to 23. Trey Sermon has 6 point. Yeah, they ran all over them.
Yeah, they were looked like they were running away from Crosby, and I mean, kind of forcing the Raiders linebackers to get off blocks. And I don't think Spillane, if we go back and watch, didn't have a great game. It seemed like he was getting stuck. Diablo is what he is, and I don't know. Nate Hobbs there a few times too, where I felt like he had a rough one in coverage and against the run. I think the touchdown, like he just got completely swallowed up, but yeah, not exactly what you're hoping for.
Nah, man, it's just because I mean the defense is playing so well going into this game. And, it was all dependent on the pass rush. And like I said, if they weren't going to get home, the secondary has some holes in it. And we saw the Alex Pierce play. The hole opened up, touchdown. That was a big play in this game. Yeah, I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, they still need some upgrades in the secondary. And a lot of people are like, they're a quarterback away. Like, I do not agree with that. I never agree with that because they have holes in the secondary. I think Jack Jones has potential to be a really great player. Just because athleticism, he's got to keep his head in the game and do all those things. But they got a lot of work on defense still. I know these guys are playing hard, and the defensive line has really set the tone, and I think they're set there. I mean, besides defense tackle, I mean, you could look at defense tackle in the draft, but I think they're set there for the most part. But I still think it's got to be a defensive plan in this free agency, man. They still got to beef up these guys. I mean, they can look for a quarterback, and I think they will. Just because AOC, even though he had 2 touchdowns today, he doesn't have the production to back up to keep starting. You know what I mean? Like if he had like 16 touchdowns already in these games or something like that, of course the Raiders would be winning a lot more. Of course, besides that, but those type of things, the production is a big thing, the big factor you have to look into as well. I saw somebody say like he had 299 and 2 touchdowns, but I'm a big attempts guy. I know a lot of people like to go with the yards thing, but yeah, 6.4 YPA, 47 attempts. You should have more than 290 yards, right?
Yeah.
So, they gotta figure out how to rebuild some of these guys, and they still gotta work on this defense. I don't care how hard they played, and if AP comes back, which we'll talk about that in a second, but this defense, they need to rebuild it a little bit still.
Yeah. Today was the last few weeks they've been kind of playing out of their minds, but today was a little bit of I agree with him. Today was a little bit of a reminder. Like they don't quite have the dogs on that side of the ball outside of Crosby. And I mean, Malcolm Kuntz had his moments, but again, not his game where the Colts kind of can neutralize him a little bit and run the ball more than they want to. He did have a few nice rushes, but obviously when playing from ahead most of the game, that's not exactly where Kuntz is going to shine as most, and ended up getting injured. So hopefully it'll be all right. But
yeah, man. So that was him getting injured was a big deal too. All right, so Antonio Pierce, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with him. The Raiders are gonna make the playoffs. They don't have a playoff look, right? I mean, they're gonna make the playoffs. So what happens with him? What do you think happens, man?
I mean, I guess it'll depend a little bit on this last week. I get the feeling that they're probably going to go. They're going to ride with them. I mean, it seems like arrow is still pointing up a little bit, or at least as of this morning. We'll see how the reports go. It's just frustrating that it's every week. It's like back and forth. But I think if they don't have a legitimate shot at like one of like the big names on the market, I think they'll give them another chance. Like if Jim, I still will say this, if Jim Harbaugh is interested and wants the job, I think it's probably his to lose, because I think that's the guy that Mark Davis has wanted for a while. The last 3 or 4 times that the Raiders the Raiders have had a needed head coach or opening a head coach, like his name seems to keep popping around. And there was a report this morning, he hired Brady's agent, which maybe gives him a stronger connection. So we'll see. But I think I don't know. Maybe we'll see how next week goes with if he can win that one and get to that 8-win mark. But I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the article he's talking about, the rap sheet piece, was concerning. Yet it was a little bit, because Bill Belichick was mentioned there too, which I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, man, they'd be great on defense. So I was like, man,
it'd be great on defense, and then draft like the one of the worst quarterbacks they can get just because he's a game man. I mean, maybe there's role with Aiden O'Connell. I don't know how much different the team.
Maybe Tom comes back. Maybe Tom comes out of retirement. He had a side ownership, right? Maybe Tom bring Bill in. Tom comes out. Get a 47-year-old Tom out there. But that's what I saw. I saw Bill Belichick was in it, and then Gruden keeps popping up. See, why does Gruden keep popping up? Can we talk about this? I want to have this conversation, man. Let's have this conversation. Why the hell does Gruden keep popping up in these rumors? I read that article. Why the hell is Gruden here? If they hire Gruden again, bro.
Because if there's one, if Jim Harbaugh is like one of the names that Mark Davis loves a lot, John Gruden is even bigger. Like John Gruden, he's loved that guy for years. I mean, that's the other guy that's name's always popped up, and he's gotten the job one time. I feel like from a PR perspective, probably not going to happen, because it's still a little soon with all that stuff going on. But I mean, I don't think we can rule it out. If Mark could and felt like he was like able to, I think he probably would do it.
Oh man, I see. Somebody said Harbaugh's going to the Patriots.
Harbaugh's going to the Patriots. I feel like the Chargers.
Harbaugh is just, it's all offense with me with Harbaugh. And Harbaugh's a big name, and I know he's going to get Raiders fans excited because he's 44-19. Whatever. But I still think if Harbaugh had a plan, he'd be the Vikings coach right now. I still 100% believe that. He'd be the Vikings coach if he had a good plan, like a real plan. Because the Vikings, they were ready to hire him. He came into their building, and they're like, yeah, we're ready to hire you. They're all excited. And they're like, so what's your plan? He's like, what do you mean? I'm Jim Harbaugh. And you know what I mean? And that's my thing. Like, what is your plan? If he has a great plan and he has a great idea and he wows Mark Davis, then fine. But that's what I'm worried about. The Vikings didn't hire him. Like, why? Sometimes a lot of people don't talk about that, but why didn't the Vikings hire Jim Harbaugh? So,
And the rumor was like you said, he walked into it super cocky and just basically assumed he was going to get the job, if I remember correctly. Like,
yeah, he's the same thing. He hasn't changed. He's the same guy. You know what I
my
mean?
issue with Harbaugh too, and goes with Gruden too, is like they're going back to the well for the third time of the head coach running the show, where the head coach is going to be the GM, because that's what was part of the issue at the end in San Francisco. Is Harbaugh wanted all the roster control, and him and Trent Baalke butted heads on what they wanted to do, and obviously it didn't work out and got rid of him. But that's my biggest hesitation with Harbaugh. That, and I mean, the guy is a college coach. His weird and like quirkiness, like it's funny, but like when you're dealing with adults, like that wears off. Like when you're dealing with 18-year-old kids, you can get them to buy into it. Like you can do the weird stuff, like putting the blue collars in everyone's locker to get everyone to buy in and all that crazy stuff. But the stuff wears off on adults, man. People don't like, and NFL players don't like being chastised and yelled at when you're 26 years old and doing this for several Pro Bowls or whatever your status is. You can get away with that with kids that don't have a whole lot and are trying to make it to the league, still trying to establish themselves.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see who they decide to go with, because I mean they might go with AP, but then AP, he has to pick a
new OC.
A new OC, because I mean Bill Hargreaves not there, man. I mean we tried, we did it. It's okay, let it go. We tried.
Yeah, I mean, if they could get AP and then maybe, like I think we talked about this before, maybe lure Frank Smith, be like, hey, you want to run the show? You want all the credit for the offense and come in? I wouldn't hate it. I kind of like Frank Smith as the head coach too, but I don't think that'll happen. Kind of get if you can convince Frank Smith to do what was it? I think Matt LaFleur did with the Titans when LaFleur left, like he was like the Niners OC, I think, with Shanahan, and then you pull him over.
Yeah.
And, but hopefully he stays more than 1 year. I think maybe you can pitch it that way, and I think that would be a decent solution. Get a guy,
make him a free
head
caller.
Coach that's get the head coach keep the head coach that's a good leader, and then get a guy that's an up and coming offensive coordinator, a little bit more creative, but at the same time not too cute and too creative and much of an idiot as Hardigree seems to be. But
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the other problem is too that we talked about is quarterback, which is going to be one.
So Marcus Stamford, Tom Sula can turn this thing around.
What is Thomas Sula up to these days?
What is he doing?
I don't know.
He's probably coaching like the Europe or something.
Let's see. Yeah, I feel like he'd be a good like XFL head coach.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think they're going to keep Champ, right? They'll probably keep Champ on. I think they're going to do that because I think Champ still made some good free agency moves after he took over. Like Janarius Robinson, that was free agent, right? Jack Jones, Janarius Robinson, right?
Yeah.
So those are pretty decent moves. I think those are pretty good moves. I liked that kind of made the team a little bit better on defense. So I kind of like what he did. I'm interested to see what he could do in free agency. Maybe he could talk Jalen Johnson to come here.
That'd be nice.
Can you talk Jalen Johnson? If he could do that, if Champ can talk Jalen Johnson, because that's a guy that he probably scouted and drafted, right? Over there with the Bears. There's some guys over there. I mean, Brian Flores is out there.
By the way, I was close. Jim Talasula is the head coach for the Rain Fire in the European Football League. European League Football Head Coach of the Year, though, won the championship.
You won the championship, right? Jim Talasula, man. He's a motivator. He's a leader. He's a leader over there. All right. In the NFL, you need a QB. AOC is not ready. See that? If it's not AP, Ben Johnson.
Fair.
See, Ben Johnson is interesting to me. I just want to see what he can do. Is he a leader? But I mean, I'm not a big fan of his passing offense either. But we'll see how that works.
Comes up with some good 2-point plays. Just gotta report. Ben Johnson comes up with some good 2-point plays. Just gotta make sure the right guy's report is eligible.
Yeah, what was that about yesterday? I mean, yeah, to be honest, it was kind of funny. I'm like, why'd you guys have 2 linemen walk up to the ref and then mad that he got confused? I was like,
they were trying to screw with the Cowboys.
Yeah, and they screw with the ref. The ref's like, which one is? He's like, me. Yeah. Like, why did you both walk over there? But anyways, We might get it if we hire Harbaugh. I mean, we might have to bring in Fields because that's the only way I feel comfortable with it.
Say what? I couldn't hear anyone.
If they bring in Harbaugh, we could have to bring in Fields. It's probably the only way I feel like more comfortable. But how much do you give up for Justin Fields? I've been thinking about this. Like, what is his real price? What is his price? Like, a third is too high for me. It's too high for me. It's just
because he's 1 year left on the rookie deal besides the 5th-year option, correct?
And he just doesn't the numbers haven't got better as a passer. You know what I mean? He looks really cool running the football. I get it. But it's just, man, is it like, what are we giving for him? Jimmy G's going to the Broncos, guys. I said it last night. He's going to the Broncos. But we found our sucker.
Where'd you see that?
Sean Payton. I said that last night. So somebody talked about Jimmy G for Fields straight up, but I said no, he's going to the Broncos. I found our sucker. It's Sean Payton. He's a sucker. So yeah, my bad. But your thoughts on
still riding this? I was going to say, still riding the Jimmy G is going to be traded.
I'm riding it, bro. We found a sucker. We got a new sucker. It's a guy out there who thinks his system is awesome, and he's going to bring him in and turn Jimmy Garoppolo into Drew Brees. That's the thought process. The same guy who thought Taysom Hill was a quarterback. So it's not crazy. He thought Taysom Hill was a quarterback. Okay, he's a winner. Exactly, he's a winner. He's going to come change Denver. We got
Jimmy. Jimmy did beat Russell Wilson in the Broncos in week 1. There you go. Maybe it's got some legs.
So Troy Aikman needs a GM job. He probably would. He would. As soon as he'd hire Troy Aikman. A mid-third for Fields. I don't know. I don't feel great doing that. I just don't. A third for him. Like he only has 15 touchdowns this year. I know he missed some games, but if you look at his stats from year 2 to year 3, they're exactly the same. You know what I mean? Like there's no where's the arrow? The arrow should be going up. Like I should have like at least 23 or 24 touchdowns this year. So, man, I don't know. That's why
I do like the pairing you brought up of if they're going to hire Harbaugh, like him and Fields, like that. I feel like could work. Be a little bit like what they had with Kaepernick in San Francisco. But I just feel like if they're going to hire Jim Harbaugh as the head coach, we can expect JJ McCarthy to be the first round pick. Like, I feel like Jim Harbaugh, everything he says about him, he loves JJ McCarthy. And I mean, obviously, he runs their offense. He's athletic, but I just don't know how sold I am on JJ McCarthy as a passer either. So,
JJ McCarthy. That's Zach Wilson, bro. He's Zach Wilson part 2. He's a faster Zach Wilson. It's what he is, man. He's a faster Zach Wilson. All right. Let's get more questions. What we got here? Do you think Pat Graham is gone next year for head coaching job? I don't know. Does he even? I mean, it all depends on AP stays, right? Maybe they hire Patrick Graham.
I mean, is Patrick Graham getting love as a head coach candidate? I don't know.
I know he was mad the Giants didn't look at him. I know he was mad about that.
And that's why he ended up coming to the Raiders, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe they look at Graham.
Maybe that'd be an interesting dynamic to not bring back AP, but then promote Patrick Graham. But I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm kind of like, why wouldn't you just promote Graham in the first place? I guess, but whatever. Maybe don't want to cause disruption.
I don't know. I think the players picked AP. I think when Mark Davis with that, but this says Mark Davis could listen to players this time with Rich Bisaccia. He might keep AP, but if he keeps AP, I mean, they'll play good defense. We know that, right? They'll be a sound defensive team. But they got to get some better players in here. But they got to find an OC, and I think they got to find a quarterback.
Yeah. Food for thought a little bit here, and this is kind of what I felt like might happen is they keep AP for another year, and basically next year's another tryout for him, where like he gets a full season and a full like slate to see what he can do, and then at the end of next year they reevaluate. Like, you know what I mean? Like, like I could see that happening. If like, okay, the Raiders were winning with AP. I think they're going to finish with a winning record with AP. Right? Be 6-5, something like that. Because they're 6-3 going in this game with him?
4-3. It's just
4-3. Okay, never mind. So yeah, but even if they finish 4-5, I could see them giving him like a year, see what he can do, and then go from there. But
yeah, so Wise feels the answer. Don't get it. I mean, people just he's exciting, man. He runs really fast. People love it. This is basically what it is. So I guess AP hasn't gone to the podium yet.
Another long meeting with Mark Davis. This is what is. I guess it's only AP's second or third, but I feel like we've had this like 5 times this year. It almost becomes normal.
This dude is just out here, just being in there. He's becoming Al before our eyes. This is in the locker room after the game, talking to the coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
doing all these things. We're getting crazy now. We're getting crazy with Mark. Mark needs to relax. I know you won with the Aces, bro, but you haven't won here. We need you. We need you to pick a head coach who then picks a quarterback. Because I was talking on the gambling show, like with AP, and Russell Wilson out there, that he's an option too. That could be a possibility. They could talk themselves into that, right? Because he's a star and Sierra and all that stupid stuff. So
Sierra gets a show on the Strip. I mean,
it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy, is it? But
with Russell, like I don't know exactly what his contract's like, but I think he's still going to be getting a good amount of cash from the Broncos. So maybe he's like willing to sign for a cheaper deal with his next deal to kind of prove himself a little bit and get the stench over his last.
They're going to cut him with the June 1st. I looked it up. They're going to cut him with the June 1st, and it's like
right.
it's like a 13,000 dead cap if they do him with the June 1st.
13 mil.
Declaration. Yeah, like 13 million dead cap that they only have to worry about. And his cap hit is only 17 million this next year.
Yeah, I'm more thinking how much cash would he get? Like, cause I know the cap. Like,
the cash comes from the Broncos. They ain't come for us.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is like, if he's still getting money from the Broncos, would he be willing to be like, all right, I'll take a cheaper deal somewhere else to prove myself?
Dog, he's humble.
I've already got money from the bank.
No, he's humble. Did you hear him talk to the media the other day?
A little bit. Yeah.
I never heard that boy that humble in my life. That dude is he is humble. That's why. The Raiders might be interested because he's humble too, man. That dude is not arrogant anymore. He ain't he's not gonna come demand an office in Las Vegas. Let's say that. Cousins too. Cousins too much money. That's my thing. Cousins gonna want 50 million.
Yeah. Cousins gonna want a lot of money. Excuse me, mumble my words here. Cousins is gonna want a lot of money, and he's gonna be like what 35, 36 coming off.
And he's gonna want a guarantee because for some reason he's been working guarantees. Nobody else can get guarantees. He's getting guarantees. Yeah. I know Russell Wilson's 35, but you have to understand, guys. You have to understand. I know Russell Wilson's 35, but Russell Wilson, he still has 20. He has 29 total touchdowns. So just ask yourself this: if the Raiders had a quarterback with 29 total touchdowns, what would the record?
Better than it is now.
You can hate on Russ, and Russ frustrates me the hell out of me. I really don't want to watch this film. I'm tired of it. I don't want to watch it. I really don't. I mean, he's good. And I watched it this past week. I'm good. I'm good on him. There's no intermediate game. There's no like, it's either a deep ball or short, deep ball or short, or him making a big play. And, but he does produce still. I mean, he's a walking 25 touchdowns. And that's how like a defensive coach can talk himself into it. But I know people don't want that, but man, yeah. I mean, to be fair, Jimmy Graham did play pretty well with Russ Wilson. He did. To be fair to Russ, he did. But I don't want Russell Wilson because Russ is just so volatile, man. He's just
yeah. To be clear, yeah, I'd much rather see them go with a younger guy. I just don't know who they're going to be able to get.
No, they're going to be getting. Hopefully, Jaden Daniels, like the NFL teams are just like, you are too small, and you're going to fall to 17.
To 17, where are they at?
I don't know. At 10, they're at 10 right now, right? My bad. I don't know, but maybe Jaden Daniels falls to them, right?
Yeah.
So if he falls to them, then especially if AP's there, if he falls, they're taking him. Let's keep it real. AP's taking him if he falls there. I think AP might take him regardless. And I don't mind Jaden Daniels. I just want to see is he 6'3", 210? Is he?
He's like 6'4", 205.
Are we sure about that? How sure are we? I don't know. He can't. He looks a little bigger. He looks a little bigger than he did at ASU. We'll see. That's what the combine's for. Jake Browning. I don't know. What is he doing? What is Jake Browning doing right now? Is the game on?
It just started.
If he's balling right now, then sure.
Folsom High, stand up.
All right, Kuntz setting the edge. All right, let's get out of here, bro. Kuntz setting the edge. Was the real Jack Jones? To be honest, that's not the question. Jack Jones here. Who's the real Jack Jones there the previous 2 weeks? See, I gotta say this too before I get out of here. What's another question you asked about Kuntz? Starting edge or pass? I think he's starting edge. I mean, if Michael Parsons can start, I'm not comparing Michael Parsons, but Michael Parsons can't play the run. Okay, Michael Parsons can't play the run worth the shit. All right, he can't do it. He does not play the run at all. So I mean, sure, can Malcolm Kuntz, is he starting edge rusher? Yes, because he can get out to the damn passer.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that. We'll deal with the other part of it. And who's the real Jack Jones? Go ahead.
I was just saying, Kuntz has gotten better against the run. I mean, it's a question a little bit if he can do it every down, but he's like at least holding his own. Where like the last like couple of weeks, I've been a little more sold on him as a starter.
So Jack Jones was interesting too, because he slipped. He almost gave up a touchdown last week if Patrick Mahomes saw it, and then he slipped. And then he made a couple plays. I think he's just going to be, he's not Jalen Ramsey, but I still think he's a good player. He's a good player. He's a good corner. He's going to be sound. He's going to do his thing. But I mean, could he become Jalen Ramsey? Maybe, but we'll see.
Yeah, super aggressive.
Well, Browning causing issue with his legs. Look at Browning. He's going to beat the Chiefs. I don't know. All right, guys. I think we're out of here. 36 minutes. I hope you guys enjoy this. It's draft time, guys. Let's just keep it real. We're getting the draft. It's draft time. I'm gonna start grinding the draft. We're gonna look at some quarterbacks, corners, whatever the Raiders do. We don't know if they can win next week. Maybe if they win, they keep falling. We don't know. We got to keep doing this. But that's what we're here for, guys. It's draft season. We're gonna do this. We're gonna grind out for you guys. Matt loves the draft. I love the draft. So we're gonna do a lot of draft stuff. We're gonna get it, and we're gonna get into it and figure out what we need to get this team better and go over everything. So be on the lookout for that, guys. And we're out of here. See you guys. Peace.
See ya.